It was a bright, cold day in April, and the clocks were striking 13. Winston Smith, his chin nuzzled into his breast in an effort to escape the vile wind, slipped quickly through the glass doors of Victory Mansions, though not quickly enough to prevent a swirl of gritty dust from entering along with him. The hallway smelt of boiled cabbage and old rag mats. At one end of it, a colored poster, too large for indoor display, had been tacked to the wall. It depicted simply an enormous face, more than a meter wide, the face of a man of about 45, with a heavy black mustache and ruggedly handsome features. Winston made for the stairs. It was no use trying the lift. Even at the best of times, it was seldom working, and at present the electric current was cut off during daylight hours. It was part of the economy drive in preparation for Hate Week. The flat was 7 flights up, and Winston, who was 39 and had a varicose ulcer above his right ankle, went slowly, resting several times on the way. On each landing, opposite the lift shaft, the poster with the enormous face gazed from the wall. It was one of those pictures that was so contrived that the eyes follow you about when you move. "Big Brother is watching you," the caption beneath it ran. Inside the flat, a fruity voice was reading out a list of figures which had something to do with the production of pig iron. The voice came from an oblong metal plaque, like a dulled mirror, which formed part of the surface of the right-hand wall. Winston turned a switch and the voice sank somewhat, though the words were still distinguishable. The instrument, the telescreen it was called, could be dimmed, but there was no way of shutting it off completely. He moved over to the window. A smallish, frail figure, the meagerness of his body merely emphasized by the blue overalls which were the uniform of the party. His hair was very fair, his face naturally sanguine, his skin roughened by coarse soap and blunt razor blades and the cold of the winter that had just ended. I dreamed of my Genesis in sweat of sleep, breaking through the rotating shell, strong as motor muscle on the drill, driving through vision and the girdered nerve. From limbs that had the measure of the worm, shuffled off from the creasing flesh, filed through all the irons in the grass, metal of suns in the man-melting night. Heir to the scalding veins that hold love's drop, costly a creature in my bones, I rounded my globe of heritage, journey in bottom gear through night-geared man. I dreamed my Genesis and died again. Shrapnel rammed in the marching heart, hole in the stitched wound and clotted wind, muzzled death on the mouth that ate the gas. Sharp in my second death, I marked the hills, harvest of hemlock, and the blades rust my blood upon the tempered dead, forcing my second struggling from the grass. And power was contagious in my birth, second rise of the skeleton and re-robing of the naked ghost, manhood spat up from the re-suffered pain. I dreamed my Genesis in sweat of death, fallen twice in the feeding sea, grown stale of Adam's brine until, vision of new man's strength, I seek the sun.